You guys are each other's biggest fans. I think that's the other thing that people don't understand, and I get to see that, fortunately. And so I know through, any of the turbulence, I want to talk more about the home invasion and, that the impact that had. But I know that through everything, you always say PK is the smartest person that you've ever met.
Hands down.
Yeah.
And the funniest.
Yeah.
And she's the most beautiful, and she's a fantastic wife and a fantastic mother, and Dorit's got her ways, we know she talks a lot, right? And it's difficult to get a word in, which is why this podcast is interesting. But I'm not someone.
Well, he is a smart guy.
No, but I'm not gonna walk. No. I'm not gonna walk 10 feet behind my wife. It's just not who I am.
No, he'd rather walk 10 feet in front of me.
Yes, I'll walk in front or I'll walk by the side.
How about side by side?
But the point is, I'm not that person. So if I don't feel that my voice is wanted or I'm needed, then I'm a guy that, I won't bother.
Yeah, he's actually sensitive to that. In
fact, know that, Alex.
It really, it's not going to paint him in a very nice light, but it's harmless, but it's one of those things. It's so true. PK does like to be, he doesn't want to be in the shadows. He's just not. And it's something that he's actually got a real, I don't want to say insecurity, but like a sensitivity about. And so even the fact being on the show and it being called The Housewives, me saying that it's my show or him not being at level with me has been a bone of contention.
But this is why there's such a major contradiction. So this season, you've not been around. You should have done this. You should have done this. Last season, it's The Housewives. You're not needed. Which one is it? Do you understand? What do you want me around?
I don't think it's that extreme, but it's not mine and PK show, right? Obviously, if I had it my way, it would be. I would love nothing more. But I'm not saying that to kind of like one up my husband. It just is what it is.
Although, how would that go if it were your guys' show? Like, let's say you're doing a show about your family. Like, I think that would be
amazing.
Really?
Are you kidding? You would actually, to be able to see PK and I, which when we go for dinner, the three of us, you actually do. And like you said, you guys are bickering back and forth or disagreeing.
And laughing.
Exactly. There's obviously a lot of love. I mean, there is a lot of love between PK and I. He's my family. But he can also drive me up the wall and I want to kill him and vice versa. But there's nothing in our lives that we don't do together. In fact, I should say, the reason why we had trouble in our marriage is because post-home invasion, I was dealing with a lot of stuff. I really wasn't myself. I didn't really want to go out all that much. So we were spending less time together. He was traveling more. PK and I are not good when we're not together.
You're apart.
We're not good when we're not doing everything together and involved in each other's lives the way we've always been. It actually disconnects us. And we
end up... But also, the reality is that my family and friends are in England. And also, I've got elderly parents now.
Yeah.
I like to go there. My brother's there. I've got a daughter in London. I've got a lot of friends. I've got a business there. And definitely there was a period in the last few years where Dorit, I was definitely avoiding dealing with, what had happened. You
probably didn't know what to do.
I mean, I can recount the phone call when she called me. I know where I was. And she called me hysterical crying. And I was on a plane by 4 o'clock that day. And I spoke to Kyle. And Kyle called me at the airport, screaming, crying, tell me it isn't true, tell me it isn't true, tell me it isn't true, which made it a million times worse for me. Do you know what I mean? And then I had to be on a plane for 10 hours. And then when we land...
And you felt incredibly guilty that you weren't there.
I was dying that I wasn't there. But the simple truth is, and this is just a fact, it would have been 10 times worse if I were there. 10 times worse. That is Hashem saving us.
I don't think that it would have...
It wouldn't have ended
well at all.
Listen, she was amazing, and the reality is, if you track back to that period, I read about as if this would happen, as if this would happen. It all happened. That's what happened. Do you understand? So when they talk about, well, why would the burglar or the home invader leave the phone on the floor? This is why he did, because Dorit pleaded, showed them where everything was and said she can't phone anyone, she doesn't have a phone, and obviously something triggered with that robber, or whatever you want to call him, that he did actually leave the phone on the floor. That's what he did. And that's how she managed to call me. And then they go, as if that. But that's what happened.
I have been in meetings at your house with the LAPD. So this is not even a question.
Exactly.
Obviously, it happened. You would never stage it. You'd never lie about it. That would be an unimaginable crime. And it also is just insulting to your integrity as human beings.
But by the way,
Honestly,
ironically, even though they haven't caught those home invaders, we've been robbed 3 times, right? The first time he's been caught, he's been sent to jail for 25 years. Done. Second time they haven't done it, the home invaders. But when Dorit had her, I don't even know if you know this, when Dorit had her money stolen at Marshall's when they took the handbag, they caught him as well. And now they caught him. And now the probation officer rang me. Well, whoever they caught and said, do you want restitution and all this?
How come no one said anything
Well,
to me?
you know what? I don't particularly want to talk about traumatic things. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's
Sweetheart, I would love to know
Yeah,
that
they caught
did.
him. They caught that gang.
There was 3 guys. I know 2 of them
I
had
don't
priors.
know, but all I know is they caught him.
But they have one.
Yeah.
They have one.
Yeah.
So who did you speak to? The detective?
I spoke to the detective and then the probation officer called me because there's a thing in America called restitution, which basically means
You have to pay back.
he has to pay it back, but he can't pay it back, so he pays back at £25 a
PK,
month forever.
honey, why am I not involved?
He's paying it back in pounds?
I think, no, he's not paying back in pounds. Anyway, it doesn't.
No, sweetheart,
honey,
what-
I only took the call yesterday from the probation officer.
I just love that I'm learning about this now.
Yeah.
You were there when we heard the 911 call
Yes.
for the first time. You know, when PK talks about things that people have written online, and you and I spoke about this. I know, I've been doing the show long enough. I know that there's going to be those weirdos out there that are going to say things like, but I don't pay any attention to that, Alex. I can't. I mean, whatever I'm dealing with emotionally and protecting the family and so on, my energy has to be put towards getting better and living in the real world and not paying attention to these stupid things.
Especially something of that seriousness, because it, like, when it's, health, safety, welfare of your family, and it's
Exactly.
the rest of
Now,
it is bullshit.
What did hurt me, I heard Garcelle, who's a friend of mine, in her confessional say, make a passing comment about, the only jewelry I've ever noticed was the jewelry that Dorit was wearing after she was robbed, insinuating that there was in any way
No, it's fueling.
not
It's
exactly
fueling the
what
rumor.
I'd said.
It's fueling the rumor.
It certainly is, because again, I really have not seen a large number or really any, comments about it not being real. I've had a very, very different experience. I've had thousands of people reach out to me, and those kinds of things, it's almost shocking. Like, wait a minute, this is like, here within, we have the reunion coming up, I'll understand exactly what she meant by that and what she doesn't believe, because it sounded almost like she,
Well, it's the nature of the show. Ladies get an opportunity to say things perhaps they wouldn't say to someone's face when they're in a confessional. So, for example, the comment about the ring, etc., and Dorit's wedding band and engagement ring, the reality is Dorit takes that off every night and puts it on her bedside, right? They missed it.
Before she goes to dinner with Mauricio?
Before she goes to dinner with Marissa.
Head over to bravotv.com/podcast to catch us clearing up some of the biggest reality TV production rumors and having a little fun along the way.